For the last week, hundreds of thousands of Germans have been protesting against the far right and the CDU's chancellor candidate, Friedrich Merz. Last week, Merz, leader of the CDU, and Germany's Mr. Merz decided to break the one rule of German federal politics. You're not allowed to work with the far right. Something so taboo that even his predecessor, Angela Merkel, condemned him, and it led to immediate nationwide protests across the country. The 99-year-old Holocaust survivor Albert Weinberg even condemned this horrible travesty of the CDU voting with the AfD. Did they learn nothing? You know German history, you know then how some people posing as Democrats in 1933 abused the legal political process to get into power. What happened in the Bundestag on Friday reminded me of Germany in 1933, of how Hitler and the Nazi Party managed to come to power through legitimate means. So it shouldn't surprise you that Merz's own excuse is that he was forced to vote with the AfD because the Democratic parties didn't want to vote for the motion that originated with the AfD that he decided to put up with the AfD's support. The thing is so frustrating because Merz failed at this motion. That is the only one kind of rosy-colored part of this. He failed at passing this motion. So not only did he do something incredibly taboo, he did something that failed in the first place. It's a double lose. Not only has this triggered a ton of protests, it's led to conservative panic that they might lose an election that they were almost a shoo-in to win, and led to a record number of new members of the Green Party, with 5,000 people joining in the last 5 days, and 11,000 more members in the Linke. Today is the CDU's party conference, which is facing massive protests, so they've had to bring in 700 police officers to guard the place. And with unanimous approval, they've doubled down on the same ideas that got them into this trouble in the first place. And of course, blaming the left for all of their problems. At the same time, the AfD has received 3 massive campaign donations, with the largest to date happening just yesterday, with 2.3 million euros being dumped on the election by a wealthy Austrian, Gerhard Dingler, who is from the FPÖ. And he has purchased 6,000 posters to go up in Germany. And the leader of the AfD, Alice Weidel, is off to Budapest to kiss the ring of Viktor Orban. And all this is happening at the same time Trump is threatening massive sanctions on EU products. And the AfD is getting massive non-stop free publicity from Elon Musk and his entire Twitter platform. And what is often missed is how the AfD has been able to use conspiracy theories, especially around COVID and vaccination, to be able to broaden their spectrum of voters, which means that they're able to appeal to different voters based upon different levels of conspiracy theory. The other half of this is promising mass deportations, both of foreigners and German citizens. And this is being pushed by the soon-to-be unfortunate far-right Chancellor of Austria, Mr. Herbert Kickl himself, who wants the EU Commission to create a remigration commissioner. Yes, an European commissioner for mass deportation. This is an AfD ad, for example, that says summer sun and remigration. But even though hundreds of thousands of people are rising up, the AfD sits comfortably strong in the polls at around 20%, and they are dominating every single communication online, with massive amounts of influencers and a huge international backing. Donald Trump campaigned on remigration himself and is currently underway with mass deportations of hundreds of thousands of people. These ideas come out of the French New Right and the ideas of Maurice Barrès, and also much more recently Renaud Camus. And the term remigration comes from the leader of the Austrian identitarian movement, Mr. Martin Sellner. And with Martin, let's take a quick little detour to explain how ridiculous the internationalism of the far right is. Martin's wife is an American and far-right social media influencer, Brittany Sellner, who not only worked for Tim Pool, a massive American far-right influencer, and longtime far-right and white nationalist influencer Lauren Southern. And you can find all this on Brittany's IMDb, because far-right influencers have so many shows they can have enough to fill IMDb's. That is how messed up things are, guys. And the absurdity doesn't stop there, because Lauren Southern and Tim Pool are both involved in getting massive amounts of money from the Russian Federation to spread right-wing propaganda. The production company they worked for together paid the 6 of them $8.7 million in just a few months. And while Martin's absurd, he is dangerous and has inspired real violence, including the Tree of Life shooting and the Christchurch shooting. His ideas are in the mouths of US conservative congresspeople, and in this German election, the AfD, that wishes for remigration, that means mass deportations, and not only that, other extreme ideas like dropping the euro. And these conspiracies are not just on the far right, they have been for a long time within mainstream conservative spaces and also liberal spaces. And it was only a few years ago that another conservative party in another German-speaking country, Austria, tried to do the exact same gamble that the CDU is doing with the AfD, which ended with the vice chancellor and leader of the FPÖ attempting to sell off the Austrian media to who he thought was a Russian oligarch's daughter. Which brings us back to Merz, the CDU, and the German elections that are happening in 20 days. As long as Merz is the leader of the CDU is an untrustworthy partner in the defense of the Republic. That is a real thing that people need to reckon with. And until Merz is gone, they should not be trusted to not do the same thing they did last week again with the AfD, whether on the Lande level or the federal level. So stand up, make a plan to vote, join a political party, join a trade union, get involved in your democracy. Germany needs change now, not tomorrow, and this does not end at the election. You need to make sure that whatever government happens, that you are there day in, day out, making sure that they're working for you. Not only that, it's important to understand that this is one front in a global war against democracy. You need to guard yourselves and the German Republic and Europe as a whole against people and oligarchs like Elon Musk who hope to turn the entire world's democracies to something that is one of his playthings. Fight back and be strong. Repost, share, like, help us get some engagement, and I believe in you. Solidarität.